Thanks for joining us, America. Here we are on Indivisible once again. I'm your host, John Stubbins. This is the show we put God, family, and country first, and we will always tell you the truth. Real quick, I just want to go to our slide. Indivisible with John Stubbins airs Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Hunt Channel. You can download that free app on your smart TV, your phone, your laptop, wherever you want to watch the show from, whatever mechanism you want to use. These are our partners, and you'll notice Hunt the Vote, Hunter Nation, Hunt Channel, all in line because of our relationship now with Ted Nugent and Donald Trump Jr. We're going to be expanding to Pluto TV very shortly. Also Pursuit and Pursuit Up. So we're going to be reaching hundreds of millions of people. We're very excited about that. But these are our partners. We just had an amazing event in Nashville, a full house. We had John Rich rocking the place. We had Lee Greenwood. He's saying, God bless the USA. He opened up with the national anthem. We had our brothers Wade Jennings and Mark McKay. We had just amazing music. Tom Homan was in the house, President Trump's ICE director, and just so many patriots. Kyle Rittenhouse was there. It was an amazing event and one that we really are excited about because now we're going to be going on to Bedminster and Mar-a-Lago. We're going to be doing additional events, and we may be putting together a tour for next summer full of concerts and patriotic music, doubling up on our efforts with Hunter Nation and Hunt the Vote. Listen, we want to thank you, each and every one of you out there, because without you, this show is not possible. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with congressional candidate and brother Nate Cade from West Virginia. Indivisible with John Stubbins is proud to support my friends Jim and Angela Holland and Set Apart Farms.
Faith-led and family-driven, we're doing things a better way for veterans and their families. For all the ways to get involved, go to setapartfarms.org.
By now, you've all heard me talk about Mike and his great products. Well, guess what? Mike's now introduced his MyPillow My Slippers, which are fantastic. Great on my feet, soft as can be. I love them. Mike's taken over 2 years to develop these slippers. He's designed them to wear indoor or outdoor all day, all night long. Made with MyPillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. Made with quality leather suede. For a limited time, Mike is offering 40% off his new My Slippers. The My Slippers are so comfortable, you're going to want to get them for the whole family. Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code Indivisible. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, and MyPillow towel sets. Or call 1-800-716-4639 and enter Indivisible as your promo code. And we're back. Thanks for joining us tonight, America. Got a big show tonight because Nate Cade, he is a brother and he is a patriot. He's running for Congress in West Virginia right now, District 2 in West Virginia. And by the way, Nate, if you don't remember Nate Cade, he is a federal whistleblower. You remember the Hillary Clinton documents, Uranium One, which came out. A lot of that information came out in the Durham report, and I'm sure Nate's going to want to talk about that. But the evidence was all turned over by Nate for the Durham report, and he's preparing to testify before a closed session of Congress. I want to bring on my friend. How you doing, brother Nate Cade?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thrilled to have you back, man. Sorry it's been so long. We've we went through our phase of trying to get past all the social media censorship and find a new home. We finally found a new home, and we built a new website, and I told you they weren't going to stop us, brother.
Nope, not at all.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I've been busy, really busy. I think this last month, my wife, who's my campaign manager, had me speak in 18 different counties. In this last month, we put over 8,000 miles on our car, and so it is. In fact, I thought something was wrong with our car. We just bought this car, and this year, and I told my wife, the light came on, said you need to change your oil, and I said something's wrong with this car. We just changed the oil a month ago. I think you need to take it into the dealership and have them check it out because something's broke.
And you sound like me, brother.
Yeah, she went down there. They said, no, you've just put 8,000 miles on your car. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't.
Well, you know what's crazy? Just about a week ago, or I guess a little over a week and a half ago, I took a trip down to North Carolina when I thought I was going to be home doing yard work and cleaning up and checking all my mail from a month being gone and on the road. I mean, I was in Nashville, I was in DC, I was in North Carolina. I'm getting ready to go to Alabama. It's nonstop. When you're doing what we do, you're never home as much as you're on the road,
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I didn't want to do this. At first I was, when I got into deciding to run for office, it really came as a result of the last election. And I was praying with my family and just asking God to raise up righteous men and women to run for office. And I heard that still small voice that said, "What about you?" And my initial response was, "Whoa, hold on a minute, God. This is not something that, I want to do. I just got my, business started 2 years ago. It's finally, being profitable. I've had, we went through hell, of course, blowing the whistle and then being raided by the FBI and all of that. And so it was like, I just want to get my life back. And
sure,
I just feel like I got it back. And now I feel like I'm going, I'm basically, running headlong into the, into the viper's den." And
yeah, you're going under the lights again.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's not something that I enjoy. I do enjoy getting out and talking to the people, but I don't enjoy the prospect of having to partially make my home Washington D.C. and then of course doing what oftentimes feels like futile work, right? This is so that is really at the heart of it, is that in the end, I ended up basically saying, "Okay, God, I'm not going to say no," but I did say, "Lord, if this is something you want me to do, I need you to show me a path because I don't see one." Really, the only option for me, was really to run for federal office because I'm a working contractor, and so within my company, and so I don't have the luxury of being able to take off part of the year to go do politics down in Charleston. And so for me, it's all or nothing. I have to, give up my company, walk away from it and go do this, or I don't do it. And the Senate has, they have a rule, of a 5-year residency in West Virginia to run for Senate. But for Congress, I've been here for 2.5 years, actually almost 3 years now in West Virginia. And so it really was, that was really the only option, was Congress. And at the time, Mooney had just won re-election by like 70%. He had a conservative voting record, and I just didn't see any possibility of running against an incumbent when there's no reason to. And so I ended up praying about it, and I just said, "God, if this is something you want me to do, then I need you to make a way. And if you make a path, I will run." And I thought I bought myself 6 to 8 years by saying that, and then next, of course, God, pulled the rug out from under me, because 2 days later, I'm typing in Alex Mooney's name into Google, looking up his name to send a message to his office over a matter that my company was working on. And it pops up. It says 2 seconds ago, Alex Mooney announces he is running for the U.S. Senate against Joe Manchin in 2024. And my heart just sunk. And I was like, oh man, really? And so, I gave God my word I would run if there was a path that was created. And so here I am, I'm running. Well, and I've been out there, charging hard. The way I look at it is that when we commit to something, and I knew, and this is why I didn't want to do it, because I know that when I commit to something, I commit all the way. And been out there, meeting with the people of the 2nd District, getting to know their concerns, speaking to them about, the issues that matter to them, and sharing with them my heart and vision for West Virginia and America.
Yeah. And and all of us are called to do what we do And doesn't mean that the timing's right. Doesn't mean that we want this or we want that. It's the way that it goes. And if you're called, and you've got to answer the call. And congratulations to you, number one, on your run. You know that we're going to endorse you 100% here on this show.
Thank you.
So we're proud of you, brother. And look, what are the people saying in West Virginia? By the way, what you said you've been in West Virginia now 2.5, 3 years. What's it like? How do you like West Virginia?
Well, we've moved around the United States. In fact, I've lived all over the world because of my military service.
Sure.
And, I spent a few years, 3.5 years in the Army as an enlisted soldier. I got out, and then I ended up going into work for the U.S. Navy as a civil servant, and then I went into the Marine Corps as a civil servant, and then I've had a few moments in between, as a defense contractor. But all in all, I've spent, a good 26, out of my 26 years in the industry of cybersecurity, I would say the majority of that was with the Defense Department and most of it in the Pacific Theater. But we've lived all over the place, including in Georgia, South Carolina, California, in San Diego. We lived in Japan and Hawaii. I did a year overseas tour in the Army and lived in Korea for a year. So,
sure.
I've
How
lived
do you
around.
like West Virginia?
I'm going to tell you, I love it. It's funny. For me, West Virginia has always been appealing, even back when 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we lived in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. And at that time, I remember, I really admired West Virginia because they were extremely pro Second Amendment. And that's always been a big, to me, that's kind of almost like a marker, right? A state that is pro Second Amendment is going to respect all of the other constitutional amendments. If a state doesn't respect the Second Amendment, then the likelihood is they're going to very loosely interpret the other amendments. And so that was always something that was important to me. But when we moved here, we were in Maryland, and I had been raided by the FBI after blowing the whistle, and I went through the official proceeding. I got recognized as an official whistleblower under the Intelligence Community Whistleblower Protection Act with the DOJ IG. My information was passed to both the House and Senate Intel committees, and then I went home, and I had anonymity, and so I knew that eventually they would probably figure out who I was. And sure enough, 4 months after I blew the whistle, and finalized it, then I got raided by the FBI.
Of course.
And they made my life hell for a couple of years until finally I filed a complaint with the Senate Judiciary Committee, and they looked into it. Their investigative counsel looked into it, into the harassment that we were experiencing, and it all stopped. And so thank God. But after that, I was just like, I'm done with Maryland. Maryland was they had. It's had issues with their state being very jury rigged, and so even though I lived in a very conservative part of Maryland, we felt like we had no representation whatsoever, and so we ended up basically deciding to up and move. And when COVID hit, especially, I started seeing some ridiculous nanny state type things, tactics being pushed by their rhino Republican governor at the time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to live somewhere that, number one, respected the Second Amendment. I had death threats. I was poisoned twice. I had, people that wanted to kill me. My whistleblowing dealt with, basically exposing the leadership of the FBI, Hillary Clinton, and Russian intelligence agents. And so, anyone, I didn't feel safe. And so I wanted to live somewhere where I could protect myself, could protect my family. But I also wanted to live somewhere where the people had the same values and the same beliefs, that we held. Those values of love of country, of love of God, of love of family, conservative values, conservative Christian values. And so we moved to West Virginia, really looking for, we came here almost as refugees, looking for, the promised land, and we found it. I mean, I love this state. I fell in love with the state the moment we moved here. And we bought a beautiful property near the Potomac River, and it has been just an absolutely wonderful place to live. Last summer, in fact, was probably the best summer of my life. And my job is great. I have a contract where I'm a working contractor, and my job goes from 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And so in the summertime, I would get off, and I was working from home as a cybersecurity engineer, and I would go get on my boat on the Potomac and just enjoy life. And and I'll tell you,
that sounds fun.
and I was laying down on my boat looking up at the sky, and it was a clear blue sky. And I remember thinking to myself last summer, man, I finally arrived. After all the stuff that we'd been through, I'd started my own company, had finally become successful, and we were finally here. And I said, I hope this never ends. And be careful when you say things like that, because immediately I heard that still small voice in my head say, son, enjoy this while you can, because it's not going to last. I have other work for you to do. And oh man, my heart sunk at that moment. I had no idea it was going to be politics at that moment, but I knew that something was coming. And then it was at the election in 2022. That's when in November. That's when I prayed, and I felt God calling me to do this. And so what's changed is, as I've gone around and I've begun to there's 27 counties in the 2nd district. So the 2nd district is basically the whole northern half of the state, and it includes the eastern panhandle, the northern panhandle, and then from Parkersburg, or Wood County, kind of a straight line across, or maybe a jagged straight line across. But it's a pretty large area to cover. And so, we're traveling. We get out there, to the furthest area of our district. It's 4 hours, 4.5 hours drive to, like, say, Parkersburg, and we go out there. Yeah. And we're coming back at, we're going like an evening meeting or something to talk with people and to share. I get back about 2 in the morning, and I got to get up at 6 and start working. So
I believe me, I understand. I get it. So
yeah.
Look, that's just the way it is, right? There's no way around it.
No.
Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with Brother Nate Kane.
The Isaac Law Firm, protecting men in family court.
Indivisible with John Stubbins is proud to support my friends Jim and Angela Holland and Set Apart Farms.
Faith-led and family-driven, we're doing things a better way for veterans and their families. For all the ways to get involved, go to setapartfarms.org.
And we're back with Nate Kane, who is running in the 2nd District of West Virginia for Congress. And we're, like I said, we're behind Nate 100%. Nate, what are your constituents saying on the ground there? I know you're traveling all over the place and you're getting in late at night, but what are your constituents saying? What are they feeling? Do they feel, number one, is Manchin out of there? Are we going to be able to get Manchin out?
I don't think that. I think Manchin has kind of burned his bridge here. This last vote that he did with the Inflation Reduction Act, and also the Marriage Protection Act, or whatever you want to call it. It's funny because both those things are kind of the exact opposite of what they are. He's really, kind of turned off the people of West Virginia. The people of West Virginia are very conservative, and even when they were Democrats, they were conservative.
Sure.
But they have this state has become a solid red state. It is a 3-to-1 Republican state, and this state, out of all of them, I believe, had the highest per capita votes for Donald Trump in every county. And so this is a pro-Trump state, and they are pissed. I'll tell you, I go around and I talk to people. They're angry. They're upset about what they see as this injustice against Donald Trump with the what's going on with the him being charged and this constant lawfare being used against him. But the other thing too is they see the same things that I see. So that's one of the advantages of living in a state that holds the same values as you do, is that, as I run for office and I'm talking to people, I don't have to lie about anything. I can tell people exactly how I feel, and they're in agreement with me.
Yes.
A majority of people here, they believe that, the government is too powerful. They believe that the federal government is abusing their power, that there is no such thing as a Department of Justice anymore. It's a Department of Injustice. They see the weaponization, of the FBI and the intelligence community, and they're very concerned about it. They also see
the attack on energy.
That's right. They see the attack on energy. They see the attack on our national security, and the depletion of our of our military. They see
our schools,
the wasteful. Oh, and okay. Now that issue, that is one that no matter where I go, everybody brings up to me the issue of these books that are in the schools, the issue of the pornographic material, the sexualization of our children, the pushing of this transgender, agenda in the LGBTQ agenda. It's clear for West Virginians, that we have. That we're under attack, not just from foreign aggression, but from people here domestically in the country.
Indoctrination has got to stop across the board. We've had it. We've drawn the line in the sand. That's it. Now it's war because we're not doing this anymore.
No.
Look, I want to switch gears here real quick. In regard, because a lot of people don't know you, and I want them to get to know you from the federal whistleblower standpoint and Uranium One, Hillary Clinton, the Durham report. I want to get you to speak on that for a couple minutes here, please.
Sure. So for 5 years, I've been talking about my whistleblowing experience, and I've been exposing, what I turned over to both committees because nothing was done. By the time I got it through the entire process, the Democrats took over, and Adam Schiff shut down the entire investigation. In fact, I have a clip on my social media where I asked Devin Nunes that very question: what happened? He said, and he said it in front of the entire world, and I already knew the answer, but I wanted it said in front of the entire world, that basically, when Schiff took over, he shut down the entire investigation. He closed it down, an investigation into national security matters of urgent concern, whereby the FBI was covering up criminal activity by Hillary Clinton for political reasons.
Right.
Now, what the Durham report goes into, and this is what was great about the Durham report, is that he fully exposed the truth about everything that I turned over. And that's on page 79 for those that, download the Durham report. They can go look at page 79 in that first paragraph. It's all about everything I turned in. Now, he talks about in there that there was the Washington field office, the New York field office, and the Little Rock field office were investigating Hillary Clinton on multiple charges related to financial records and a intelligence report, and that they chose to essentially shut down the investigation. Now, he doesn't get into anything more really than that, but I can talk about it because I know what those documents entailed because I turned them in. And the intelligence report was a report that proved that the FBI knew about the Russians' attempts to infiltrate our uranium supply chain through a company called Rosatom. Then later, under Hillary Clinton, while she was Secretary of State, the CFIUS Committee, which is the Committee on Foreign Investment and Security, they approved the sale of Uranium One to Rosatom, this company trying to infiltrate our uranium supply chain. They sold Uranium One, which is a company that had a 20% stake in the operation and basically the processing of 20% of our uranium supply chain. And so that all happened under Hillary's watch. It also happened under Mueller's watch. He was the FBI director at the time. Yep. Comey was the deputy director at the time. Michael Atkinson was the head of public corruption unit at the time, and he became later the IG for the intelligence community, who basically set up Trump with the phone call to the Ukraine and that whole thing. So I mean, that was all a scam. Everybody involved in going after Trump were people who were involved in covering up Hillary's crimes. And in fact, even the deputy AG, Rod Rosenstein, he was the U.S. attorney that brought the case against 10X that was involved with Rosatom and a bribery kickback scheme to transport uranium yellowcake. And so, when you think about that, everybody involved in the cover-up of Hillary's crimes, everybody involved in not doing anything about Hillary's crimes or Uranium One, all of that, they were the same ones who went after Trump. They were the same ones who set up Trump with the Crossfire Hurricane, and they were the same ones who set up Trump on the Trump-Russia collusion thing.
Carter Page.
That's right.
My friend Carter Page. We've been talking about that, and that's why I'm doing my documentary, American Anarchy, because of what they did. So we're going to be interviewing you for that documentary.
And Carter Page was he was the first one really, I think, that ever got exposed that they had essentially violated the law. They edited the FBI forms of the interviews with the people that they had spoken to in order to get a FISA 702 against him.
Right.
Well, it just came out, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. The IG just published a report showing that over 250,000 Americans have had illegal 702 FISAs open up against them.
I saw
tell
that.
you, and I know I'm one of them. I know it.
I'm sure I'm one of them too.
I had 2 years of it on me.
Those FISA warrants, that's got to stop. That's nonsense. And to this day, they've destroyed my friend's life. And I mean, just like they destroyed your life. And there's got to be a comeuppance on that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Brother Nate Kane.
Hunter Nation is the ultimate we the people in the conservation community, holding our elected employees accountable to the hunting, fishing, trapping, freedom lifestyle that has brought wildlife back to the healthiest and most thriving condition in our lifetime. HunterNation.org is the epicenter for freedom and wildlife conservation in America. I am Hunter Nation.
And we're back with Brother Nate Kane. Brother, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about what can be done real quick while we've got a few minutes left.
Absolutely. So within Congress has a power that exists within Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. And I believe the Constitution is the key to saving our country. What can happen is Congress can formulate what's called an Article 1 tribunal. It's a congressional tribunal with the purpose of adjudicating agency issues. And the agency issue here is really abuse of power by the government. And what I think needs to happen is the people who have been involved in depriving people of their rights, their constitutional rights, they need to be brought to trial and they need to be prosecuted for deprivation of rights under color of law, which carries a sentence all the way up to life in prison, or even the death penalty if somebody loses their life in the commission of having committed a deprivation of rights violation. Now, in this case, the thing that's critical is you have to have a court that's going to adjudicate it, and you have to have the prosecutors that are going to bring the case. We know the FBI is never going to indict themselves. We know the Department of Justice will never indict themselves, and the FBI is never going to investigate themselves. So I believe we need a separate citizens body set up by the court to adjudicate these issues and hold our government, officials, including the FBI and DOJ and others in the intelligence community, hold them accountable for abuses of power, like the 250,000 plus 702 FISA warrants that were illegally brought, where they were violating people's Fourth Amendment rights. They need to go after them. Or the people who were violating the First Amendment by suppressing speech in Twitter, from the Twitter files that we found about, those people need to be gone after with the full force of the law. And because they're in a position of public trust, they should throw the book at them. None of these people should be able to walk. They should all be charged to the fullest extent of the law so that this never happens again, because this is the greatest threat to our freedom and to our republic that exists, is this internal threat. Amen, brother. Amen. Look, folks, make sure that you look up and help support Nate's campaign. That is Nate 4, the number 4, West Virginia, WV.com. It's scrolling at the bottom. You can reach him on Truth Social at MCPOTA. Again, Nate Kane, campaign website, Nate Kane for WestVirginia.com, and Twitter, Facebook, and Truth Social. Make sure that you get out there and support Nate. Brother, look forward to talking with you soon. We're going to interview you for the documentary this summer, and keep kicking butt on the campaign. We've got your back, brother. God bless you, brother. God bless you. And God bless you, folks. Thank you for joining us here on Indivisible. God bless you, your families, and God bless